going to look the same as a full monofilament top because there is more fiber within that knot. Sorry. With a hand-tied top, you're still able to change the part around. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because this is a brand new style. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chiquel YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and today we're gonna do a video on different types of tops that you might find on your wigs. But before I jump into it all, I'm gonna remind you to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can learn even more about alternative hair. All right, so if you are new to my channel, you are going to be finding a ton of wig reviews here. They're all wig reviews of wigs that we sell at Chiquel. Now on top of all of those wig reviews and color reviews and wig comparisons and color comparisons and everything to do with specific wigs that we sell, I also love coming on here to give you guys tips and tricks, as well as just provide a general education on wigs, just so you know a little bit more about what's going on when you're making purchases and when you receive wigs and just what to expect. And it also just helps you navigate this whole world a little bit more easily, because that is something that when I started wearing wigs back in 2011, so 15 years ago, that is something I did not have. This world of social media, these online resources, those weren't really a big thing back then. So I feel really grateful that now I'm able to provide you with something that I kind of missed out on. Anyways, earlier this week, I made a video all about hand-tied caps and cluster knotting. If you missed that video, go and check that out because it does give you a good foundation of what cluster knotting is and what you're going to expect if you order a hand-tied cap. Now, when I made that video, I was only talking about the cap part of the wig. I was not talking about the top portion. So this video today is going to be discussing different types of tops you might see on wigs. And it's also going to piggyback a little bit on my video about cluster knotting because we're gonna dive into that a little bit more today, as it's something that you may find on the top of your wig. So I have several wigs here that I'm gonna show you guys so that you understand what I'm talking about and can visually see what I mean when I'm saying these things. Now, often the type of top that your wig has is often a really good indicator on how natural or unnatural your wig is going to look. Of course, there are many other factors that go into what makes a wig natural, and I do have a video on how to find a natural looking wig, but the top of your wig does play a large role. So we're gonna start off by looking at a type of top that you might find that is the least natural of them all, and that is going to be just your basic machine-made permatease top, and it's going to look a little something like this on the inside. Now, when I'm talking about the top of your wig, I'm referring to this horseshoe shape we have going on here. Now, like I said, this right here is machine-made, and it's what many people refer to as a permatease top. This is going to be your least natural top because there is nothing here that gives you the illusion of hair growth out of your scalp. There's nothing you can see through. You are just going to have, again, what we call permatease showing on the top of your scalp here. And you know what? I'm actually gonna put this on. Now, the wig I'm putting on right now is, I believe it's actually a discontinued style, but this is called Ashlyn. It's by TressAllure, and this is in the color Honey Bean. It's just pretty much the only permatease top style that I had laying around at the moment, so it's what I have as a visual for you. Okay, so the top of this has that permatease top, which means you are not going to see through to any illusion of scalp. It does not look like the hair is growing out of your head. You're going to see the permatease. So essentially, permatease is a short-haired crimping effect done at the root of a synthetic fiber. You can often find permatease throughout the whole cap, but when you find it on the top of your wig, you are really only going to see that permatease, which doesn't give you that natural illusion of scalp. You just see that short-haired crimping effect. You are able often to part the wig wherever you want, but no matter where you part it, you're still gonna get the kind of, you see all these like little fuzzy bits? I mean, and like tiny little short hairs. That's essentially what you are going to see. Some people are totally okay with that. They don't mind having that permatease top, but then there's some people who are like, absolutely not. I need to have a top of my wig that is at least sort of looking like it's growing out of my scalp. Now, because a wig like Ashlyn here is a very basic cap and it is all made with a machine, none of it is hand tied, this is going to be one of your least expensive wigs. These ones are usually a little bit more budget friendly. And again, that's because there are no human hands actually tying these fibers onto these wigs here. So if you are searching for a wig online and you see no mention of something like a monofilament top, monofilament part, or hand-tied top, then it's likely going to be just a permatease top. Now we're gonna take off Ashlyn here, and the next type of a top we're gonna talk about is a monofilament top. Now this right here is a monofilament top, and you can see this horseshoe shape here. All of that portion is made with a monofilament material. Now, if you're unsure of what monofilament is, it's essentially what fishing line is made out of. It's really durable. It's a little bit stiffer than, you know, a traditional lace, and it's something that can easily blend in with your skin. So the great thing about monofilament tops is you are able to see through, so that when you put it on your head, it gives you that illusion of your scalp. So I'm gonna put this one on here, and this one is Corey by Envy, and I have this here in the color Sparkling Champagne. All right, so now that I have this on my head, you can see, especially in comparison to Ashlyn here, where we don't see that part line, you can see that it kind of looks like it's growing out of my scalp. So let me come up nice and close here so you can see that. Now, another great thing about monofilament tops, full monofilament tops, is that you are able to change that part wherever you want while still maintaining that illusion of scalp. Now, the reason why this looks pretty natural, I mean, you're still gonna notice the grids a little bit if you're up close, and you're gonna notice the knotting a little bit, again, if you're up close and if you're actually looking. But the great thing about monofilament tops is that each of these fibers are hand tied onto this monofilament material, one fiber at a time. So these knots are all just one fiber each, which makes it so that the knotting is as small as it can get, really. You wouldn't be able to get much smaller than that because it is just one fiber. So those are the features of a monofilament top, and typically what you're gonna see from brand to brand to brand. You may find that some brands' monofilament tops look a little bit more natural than other brands, and you're also going to find that certain colors look a little bit more natural than other colors. So for example, if you have a darker root or a darker fiber in general, you're gonna notice the knotting on that monofilament a little bit more than if it were a lighter fiber or like a blonde fiber. But if you are looking for wigs and you're searching through their descriptions and their specs, and you want something that allows you to change the part wherever you want and gives you that look of growth from your scalp, then look for the words monofilament top. And you're gonna find that the majority of brands, not every single brand, but the majority of brands do carry full monofilament top wigs. All right, now if you love the look of monofilament top, but maybe you want the price point to come down just a little bit, and maybe you don't really need the ability to change your part, then you might be okay with a monofilament part. This is essentially the same thing. It's the same material, but it only takes up about an inch worth of parting space. You can really only do this part within this 1 inch section of monofilament material. Now this particular wig I have right here is the popular Charlotte by Envy, again, in the color Cinnamon Raisin. Go ahead and put this on and show you what this one looks like. But I mean, essentially it's going to look the same as a full monofilament top. Nobody else in the world is gonna know that this is a monofilament part as opposed to a monofilament top. So again, if you are wanting to lower the cost of your wig just a little bit, and if you are okay with having more of a fixed part, then having a monofilament part will be okay for you. Now, Charlotte, like I mentioned, is a center part and you have about an inch of space. Now, when you get these center parts, obviously you can have a center part. You can almost make a left part or a right part by parting these styles as close as you can to that seam before the rest of the wig starts. You can have just like an off center to the left and off center to the right. And to make it even more so, you can adjust your ear tabs a little bit if you have the space to do so. And then suddenly your center part becomes a little bit of a side part. And to make it even more of a side part, what you can always do is when you get to that lace front, you can bring your finger around and part the front here over a little bit so that when you look at the front of you, it looks even more like a side part. Now I'm just showing you these options to do this. For anyone out there who might see a style on a wig that has only a monofilament part, and maybe you don't like the placement of the part. So for example, maybe you see Charlotte that has a center part, but you're like, oh, I'm just not a center part person, but I love that style. I want to be able to give it a left or a right part. So this kind of gives you that option. Now, clearly, as we all know, I'm showing you this style that has a center part, but not all monofilament parts are always gonna come in the center. Sometimes you might have a left monofilament part, like this one. This one I have here is called Cardiff. It's by Belle Tress. And if you are loving monofilament parts, either left or center, then definitely take a look at Belle Tress's City Collection, because Cardiff is from their City Collection, and their City Collection is only monofilament part styles. So they have a large amount of left monofilament part styles and also a pretty good amount of center part styles. And this one has that left part. So this is what that will look like. And again, you only have that inch of space to work with when it comes to the parting. Now I was showing you how on a center part, you can kind of jig it around a little bit to make it look like a left part or look like a right part. And you can kind of do the opposite thing with a left part if you want it to be a center part. So for example, I'm going to part this as close as I can to that middle seam. So I'm gonna get it there. And then if I want, I could shift the ear tabs over a little bit, and already that's pretty close to center. And then you can still do that same thing where you like maneuver your finger over a little bit to sort of bring that part over a touch at the front. So again, if you are looking for a wig at a little bit of a lower price point, but you're not sure whether that part situation is gonna work for you, this can make it happen. Now, this absolutely looks like Cardiff is a center part style, even though it's not. All right, I am going to take Cardiff off. And last but not least, we are going to talk about hand-tied tops. Now, earlier in this video, I was saying how this is kind of piggybacking on my previous video on hand-tied caps and cluster knotting. And the reason this is kind of piggybacking on that is because hand-tied tops also have cluster knotting that I'm gonna show you here. Now, one thing I see a lot of in the wig world is people not understanding that monofilament tops and hand-tied tops are two completely different things. People will often get a hand-tied top and say it's a monofilament top, but in fact it is not. So I want to be able to show you guys the difference between a monofilament top and a hand-tied top. So earlier I was showing you Corey by Envy that has this monofilament top that's made with that more durable fishing line kind of material that is kind of transparent-ish to your skin and a little bit stiff. But now I'm gonna show you a hand-tied top. So here is a good comparison here. So monofilament top, hand-tied top. And on this side here, I have the wig called Cruise Control by Raquel Welch. All right, I'm gonna put Corey down now and just show you the hand-tied top here. This is made with a completely different material than monofilament. This is made with tulle. And on most hand-tied tops, you are often going to see 2 layers of that tulle material. The layer down at the bottom here, or I guess on the top when you put it on your head, that is where the fiber or hair or strands, whatever you want to call them, is hand tied in clusters onto this tulle material. Now, if you watched again my video about cluster knotting and hand-tied caps, you will know that cluster knots are knots where the fiber has been tied in more than one strand. So a cluster knot is going to have 2 or more strands tied onto this tulle material. And what it's going to do is it's going to make the knots a little bit bigger because there is more fiber within that knot. Sorry, I'm trying to get you guys nice. There we go. Trying to get you focused. So here you see those cluster knots on the top, on the hand-tied top, which is on this tulle-like material. And now to compare, I'm gonna show you guys the top of a monofilament top here, where we have 1 strand tied onto the monofilament. Sorry, I'm trying to part this and get this into focus so you can see. So you can pretty clearly see how these knots on the monofilament top, this is the monofilament top, are quite a bit smaller than, hold on, wait for it, let's get back to the hand-tied top. Quite a bit smaller than the knots on this hand-tied top. Now, I feel like a big reason that people often call hand-tied tops monofilament tops, because with a hand-tied top, you're still able to change the part around. So people put this on and they're like, oh, I can change the part. It gives me that, you know, sort of illusion of scalp. It must be monofilament. But like I said, it's not monofilament. So this is what it looks like on. Again, did I say what this was? This is Cruise Control, by the way. Oh my gosh, I'm all crazy. This is Cruise Control by Raquel Welch, by the way, you guys. So here are the knots on my head. Now I want to show you another example of a hand-tied top here. This one is Love Wave by Gabor, and it's from their luxury designer series. Now, one thing to know, if you are wanting a hand-tied top, Gabor, they make hand-tied tops. Gabor does not make any full monofilament top styles. They make some monofilament part styles, but when they have a full top like this, it's always going to be a hand-tied top, at least up until this point. Maybe in the future they're making monofilament tops, but up until this point, Gabor only has full hand-tied tops. And another brand, if you are looking for hand-tied tops, take a look at Belle Tress's Icons collection. The whole Icons collection has a hand-tied top. Anyways, back to this style. This is Love Wave by Gabor. And again, we have the 2 layers of that tulle material where the fibers are tied into clusters on to the hand-tied top. Hold on, it's getting on now. And by the way, this is in the color GL12-14 Mocha. And this is a regular synthetic fiber style. All right, let me show you again on the top here. Part it, and here's what those clusters are going to look like. Now, just like I was mentioning on that monofilament top, how sometimes the color plays a role in what the top is going to look like in regards to the visibility of the knotting. That's going to be the same for this. For any hand-tied top styles, if you have a darker fiber at the root where it is tied onto that tulle material, the knots are going to be more visible. Now, for some people, they know the difference between all of these, and they might say that hand-tied tops with the cluster knotting on it is a no-go for them, and they might opt to not get wigs like that because they want the most natural. And in my opinion, out of these ones that I've been showing you today, you know, the Permatease top, monofilament part, and hand-tied top, in my opinion, the most natural is going to be a full monofilament top. So there are some people who will only get styles if they have a monofilament feature on the top. But there are also many people out there who are totally okay with these hand-tied tops because, I mean, at the end of the day, you can still part them anywhere you want, and it still gives you, you know, a natural-ish illusion of growth from your scalp, and it at least gives you the ability to move this hair in a natural way. Another good thing about hand-tied tops is that because the tulle material is a little bit softer and more malleable than a monofilament material, it's gonna be a little bit more comfortable, especially if you have no hair and you have that bare scalp underneath. So at the end of the day, for you, it might be all about comfort. Okay, now because these last 2 styles I showed you, the Cruise Control in Shaded Sand and the Love Wave in Mocha here, because this is sort of a lighter fiber, I wanted to show you a style that has darker fiber at the root so you can see what that cluster knotting looks like with a darker fiber, because it will be a little bit more evident. So we're gonna have that here on this style, which I'm not gonna tell you what it is because this is a brand new style from Belle Tress's new Icons collection that I haven't shown yet, but I just wanna show you what the rooting looks like, or what the knotting looks like on something like the Icons collection. Not telling you what this is though, you'll know soon. On the Icons collection, and then again versus a monofilament top right here. Okay, I think I've explained myself enough. I think that's all I have to say. Who knows though, I might be missing something. But as always, if you have any questions about anything I just said, or you're still confused, please let me know. Please ask questions down below, and I'm happy to help you out however I can. But as always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye everybody.